Welcome back to the studio. Today we are all going to be talking about our own personal experiences with the GC New Pal rivalry. I know definitely in my personal experience, whether it be football, basketball, or really any sport here at Greenfield, I know our teams are going into the games with a lot more motivation and a lot more aggression in the game really. And with football, I know our guys like this week going into Friday, our team is really amped up. This is the game we've been looking forward to, and we've been talking about this game since week one, since summer, since last year even. So this is kind of the game that you mark down in your calendars, the GC New Pal game as a player, I know, and then obviously as a community. Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. We're going to be talking about our expectations for the upcoming Greenfield Central basketball season. Our schedule has some bigger teams this year. The regular season is going to be more competition, but in my opinion, I don't care about the regular season record as much. I care about sectionals. I care about regionals.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's big games in the regular season that I want to win. New Pal being one of those.
Yeah.
Going against those bigger schools in the regular season is going to help us.
Yeah, it gets us ready. Yeah.
Postseason. So
It's going to help us in the rankings.
And that's going to make us better, too.
Yeah.
Hey, Tucker, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So just to start off, we're coming off of a really impressive season last year. Very good record. The community, the fans, they have really high expectations for this season. Have you noticed kind of a change in the community and the fans?
I've noticed a lot more hype around the games, a lot more people coming into the games. Social media, I see a lot of stuff about Greenfield Central basketball these days, so I feel like there's just definitely been a big more boom around us.
And has that affected you or the team in like a noticeable way?
No, I don't think so. Coach emphasizes all the time about just stay on our role, stay on our course, and he does a really good job keeping us under control. So I'll just keep working.
And how do you handle the pressure of those higher expectations for the team?
Coach during practice, he puts us during high pressure situations. So we'll always run situations. He'll make it to where JV is always winning and make it really hard on us. So.
Yeah, that's good. And just kind of disregard what the fans think. Like, what are your personal expectations for this season?
We want a sectional. Rule number one, just keep working, and with that sectional, we want to go on a run. So.
Would you say the attitude towards Greenfield Central football has changed in the last few years?
I would say so. In reality, when I got here 6 years ago and we started this process, we were kind of the doormat of the conference. We were the team that everybody scheduled for homecoming and senior night and just beat up on. And with hard work from our players and our coaching staff, we've kind of turned the culture around now, and there's an expectation there. And that's growing, and if you've been around the program for a long time, you can see that. And I think that it's also bleeding off into our feeder programs with our junior high and our youth league as well. So it's a good time to be at Greenfield Central.
You mentioned New Pal, Mount Vernon, some other teams. How do you work to kind of prepare yourself and the team and the other coaching staff the week of one of those big games?
Well, it's like I've told you guys a bunch of times, the question that you have to ask yourself every day when you leave the weight room or you leave the practice field or you leave the coach's office is, have I worked hard enough to beat New Pal this week? We haven't beat them yet in my tenure here. We're going to strive to compete and do that and work as hard as we can until we accomplish the goal. It's a relentless pursuit. And that's how you have to approach it, and that's how you have to approach life. You have to go in there and just battle all the time. So I think that's the biggest thing that you have to ask yourself is, have I worked hard enough to beat whoever you're trying to beat that week?
But what's the mindset going into that week? How do you handle going against a team that could be one of those like problem teams?
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to prepare every week like you're playing one of those problem teams. It doesn't matter how good or how bad a team is, every week has to be focused and sharp and crisp, and you have to go in every week like you're playing for a sectional championship. That's how your team has to address things and approach things, and it's how we as a coaching staff do. I know that I can tell you, we the last 2 weeks, we have not skimped off on scouting. We are scouting Beech Grove, we are scouting Greensburg, we are practicing, and we're preparing like it's a New Pal week or a Mount Vernon week or any other week for that matter.
And as an athletic director, what are some of your day-to-day responsibilities?
Well, I tell you what, that's kind of a loaded question because you come into work and most days you really don't know what your day is going to entail. So today, for example, I come in, our sound system in the main gym went out on the band on Saturday night whenever they were getting ready to have their awards program. So I troubleshot that a little bit yesterday, met the tech people here to try to get that taken care of first thing this morning. And so we've been dealing with that kind of all day. And, I've dealt with some student athlete discipline. I've paid a few bills, wrote a few invoices, ordered a few things. So those types of things. We're getting facilities ready for events tonight, making sure we have all of our workers, which, the other two ladies in our office do a lot of that too. So, but it's anything and everything that revolves around athletics here at Greenfield Central High School comes through this office. Not directly just me, but Miss Mercer and Mrs. Brown as well.
And then to kind of wrap up here, what's one thing that maybe most people wouldn't know about the job that, somebody interested in the field, or just for general people, what's something that most people wouldn't know about what you do?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that people don't know, and it's kind of the running joke between ADs. Like, we just look at each other and say, people have no idea. I think there's a lot of people that think that we just come in and sit and watch sports all day, but they don't think about the management of those events, the hiring of coaches, the evaluation of coaches, the ordering of equipment, maintaining facilities, scheduling games, scheduling officials, scheduling transportation, paying bills, managing the budget, making sure you've got, the concessions are operating in the positive and not running in the negative. So it's all those things that I'm not sure normal people understand that piece of it, and that's not their fault. They just it's one of those things. I don't know what an electrician does all day, and so until you go through some of it and you see what people are doing, you just don't know.
Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Sports. We'll see you next time.